Whoa, honey, pause. Go back and show me Rock Talk's middle tooth. Welcome to The Spinal Frontier, a podcast where we speculate as to why Star Trek aliens are the way they are. I'm Kelley, she, her.
And I'm Eryn, they, them.
Well, Happy New Year. We're back from our holiday break, mid-season break.
And we're ready to talk about teeth, right?
Yes. After our tooth discussion, you should stick around at the end because we have a few announcements.
Yeah, that's
regarding
right.
our pod. But first, let's talk about teeth.
We've talked about a lot of body parts on this show so far, but we haven't really done teeth yet. And when I think about teeth, like, the first thing that comes to mind are Ferengi and Klingons.
They come up regularly in our home.
Well, and also, like, I feel like of all the aliens, they're the ones that talk about their teeth the most, or at least the Ferengi do.
They point them out.
And I've gleaned this from conversations with you in the past, but like, as with most things physiology, you can look at the tooth shape and maybe make some guesses as to what those teeth are for.
That makes me wonder what Ferengi's original tooth shape is, because they sharpen their teeth.
Yeah, they do talk about that.
And they don't do it that well sometimes, because we see, especially in Deep Space Nine, like, different Ferengi have different tooth shapes. Like, some of them are bigger than others and stick out in weird directions because they just file them poorly, I guess. Or, like, asymmetrically. So. Yeah.
Well, we know that they eat bugs.
Worms.
Yeah, worms
grubs.
And tubers and tube grubs is what they call them.
Tube
That's
grubs,
what they are.
yes, ground things.
Yeah.
Underground.
So I was under the impression that like long, thin, sharp teeth are pretty good for that, but maybe I'm wrong.
They're long, thin, sharp teeth are for shredding.
Oh, okay.
Shredding or grabbing. So, like, it also depends on the shape of the tooth. If it's like a straight, spiky thing, it's more of a shred. If there's more of a curve to it, like eel teeth have this just sick back curve to them, and it keeps things from coming back out of their mouth.
Oh, okay.
So it kind of depends on where the teeth are and how the teeth are curved, as well as like the pointiness of the tooth. So I think Ferengi teeth aren't evolved to be pointy like that.
No.
So it's definitely a social thing, but I don't know what the importance of the social thing other than maybe just looking intimidating.
Maybe, like, there comes a point where I think people just do cosmetic things to do them because they like the look. That's what they've been socially conditioned to think looks good.
It's just like in vogue.
Yeah.
All the Ferengi everywhere. I mean, we do that too, right? Like, humans have been known to file teeth down in different cultures. And the thing that makes me uncomfortable is the tooth implants that are jewelry on, like, not grills, but drilling a hole in the tooth and inserting a gem.
Oh, yeah.
That makes me crazy.
No, that can't be good for the tooth.
No, like, you're going to get a cavity under there and that tooth's going to rot out of your head.
Is it possible that Ferengi teeth are actually naturally long and pointy, but they continuously grow, so they have to sharpen them, like file them down, like a hamster or rodents?
Yeah, but usually hamster teeth or like rodent teeth are the first 4 teeth, like in the very front. Because that continual growth is for grinding teeth. And like they naturally wear down by grinding. And they're like, that's what rodents are using it for, because they're burrowing and stuff and gnawing on things. And so Ferengi would have to be gnawing on stuff all the time.
Doesn't Quark talk about using a chew stick instead of filing his teeth?
Because he wasn't his mom's favorite.
Yeah.
Maybe.
He didn't get a tooth sharpener like his brother.
Oh my God. My point is, like, all of their teeth would have to be growing constantly.
Okay.
For that to make sense to me. Like, it's not a thing, but...
That sounds difficult to manage, though.
Oh, yeah, they'd be they'd be filing their teeth all the time just to keep all, 32 little needles maintained.
When I think about filing or sharpening teeth, I also think about the Klingons.
I mean, Worf had never seen a tooth sharpener, so I don't know what they're using, but...
Well, he bought one from Quark's estate sale when Quark thought he was dying. But then they mention later in Lower Decks that Klingons do sharpen their teeth, right?
Yes, there's kind of in passing mention. But Klingon teeth are really interesting. We see a lot of kind of variety in dentition, because a cuspid, when we talk about cusp in teeth, like we're talking about the points.
Okay.
It's like bicuspids and tricuspids. We're talking about different shapes of like molars. Klingon teeth are interesting because they have different like pointinesses and ridges to them that you wouldn't normally see.
Yeah, they're kind of jagged.
Humanoids, yeah. And they're all sharp or all ridgy, right? There aren't any like front flat ones like humans do.
So it depends heavily, I think, on who the makeup artist is and what era of Star Trek this is.
Frankly, Klingons are some of the most vain, trendy, tribalistic. Like they go through all kinds of crazy body modifications.
There is a period of time where like face paint was really in vogue and in vogue.
In vogue.
Or where they all shaved their heads for a while, or.
And where did they shop?
Payless. That's for their big spiky boots.
Yes.
So, like, maybe their dentistry and their tooth care and what they think looks good on their teeth changes from time to time. I don't know, but...
It's got to.
Yeah.
They're so...
So, like, I mean, clearly in the original series, Klingon makeup makes them look like regular humans, and they appropriately have teeth that are... Human teeth. And then in the motion picture and the Next Generation was when we see the redesign of the Klingons. The actors are wearing kind of a, what do you call it? Like a false... Flippers. Is that what they're called?
It's like the opposite. It's like flippers is what like show children use to fill in their missing teeth. So they have these perfect little creepy straight teeth.
Interesting. Okay.
It's like a Klingon flipper that's like...
They wear these retainers that have caps on them that make their teeth look pointy and brown and plaquey. They look like they smell pretty bad.
I mean, in cinema, like teeth are very much one of those signifiers for goodness or value.
Okay.
Or, you know, and so like if you see somebody roll up on the screen with gnarly teeth, you're meant to be disgusted at best or terrified at worst. There isn't an orc on Lord of the Rings that has like great teeth. Right?
I feel like Azog the Defiler probably had pretty good teeth. I don't know why he just seems like he just seems like that kind of guy. I'd have to rewatch the Hobbit movies. I don't want to do that right now.
That's an incredible journey that I don't need to go on right now.
An unexpected journey.
Oh no, it's very expected and I'm on my love.
So anyways, we should get back to Star Trek.
Yes, jagged pointy teeth are kind of a visual signifier. It's meant to be something in Western culture. But also, in biology, there's actually multiple reasons for jagged, pointy teeth. So, traditionally, like I said, like the pointy teeth are good for shredding and gripping. But also, the jaggedier they are, there's other functions. So, have you ever heard of a crab-eater seal?
No, I've never heard of one.
Oh, so crab-eater seals have the wildest looking teeth I've ever seen. They look kind of like a cartoon flame. Like lots of points and very wibbly, but it's a really regular shape. But they use them to filter feed. Oh,
that's interesting.
And so they take big swallows of water, whatever, and then they push the water out with their tongue, kind of like whales do with baleen.
So they're not eating crabs then?
Well, they're eating like krill and stuff out of water.
Okay.
And they use that to filter. And so, but they're very sharp too. Like they can definitely grab meat and whatever, but they can also filter feed. Crab-eater seal teeth are some of my favorite teeth. They're so cool.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've seen what the Klingons eat, so I don't think they're filter feeders.
Well, you got to get the mud out of your gach.
Maybe that's it. Maybe they just take a handful of mud, put it in there, and then push the mud out, and the worms remain.
That's the real authentic way.
Interesting.
None of this street gach fusion business. Probably has like sauce on it. Gross. No. Mud or nothing. Organic.
Mud or nothing.
Organic gach.
I also noticed that in looking up Klingons for this episode, that the redesigned Klingons in Discovery, they also have jagged, pointy teeth, both top and bottom rows, which is impressive because they didn't always do that before.
You have to talk through that.
Yeah, but they look clean. They look like they brush them regularly.
Does it change from season 1 to season 2? From hairless Klingons to hairy Klingons?
It doesn't, no. It's pretty much the same for seasons 1 and 2, and then Discovery takes a left turn and we don't see Klingons anymore.
Yeah. So maybe Klingons are filtered feeders.
Maybe.
They're good for biting too. Like they're definitely an attack. We know Klingons bite. Like they love to do that. So in many contexts. So that
maybe those teeth are good for like tearing.
Yeah. Tearing, shredding. But also there might be a potential extra function as a filter.
Wow.
Because of how like wibbly the tooth shape is.
I wonder if Klingons have like jaw problems like later in life.
We talked about Klingon skulls and bone density before, and I think they have pretty darn dense bones.
Yeah.
So they might not actually have jaw problems.
But isn't that more of a musculature thing?
It could depend. Like they might have some jaw trauma.
Okay.
But
Klingons are allegedly pretty strong. They still manage to get their butts kicked every time they board Deep Space Nine, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, frequently they only have one eye, so you know what? Depth perception.
That's just more talk.
Before we move on to other different pointy tooth topics, another fun feature of 2023 Spinal Frontier is we're taking ads back down.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's annoying. So you're welcome. We might go back to joke ads at this point.
I would be interested in doing that, but they're hard to write. Or they're hard to keep relevant to the episode.
Yeah. We'll work on it.
I mean, I could easily do this episode brought to you by Quark's brand Tooth Chew Sticks.
Sorry your mother didn't love you.
Yeah, sorry your mother didn't love you. They're the quirkiest.
The quirkiest. Oh, no.
So I feel like teeth but pointy is pretty easy as far as like creature design. Like, okay, we'll give them pointy teeth and makes them look scary. But do we want to talk about weird teeth?
Sure.
Okay.
I love talking about a weird tooth.
So when I think of weird teeth, I think of the salt vampire from the original series.
Yeah.
And like its whole mouth is interesting, but it's like it reminds me of a lamprey.
Yeah. So we actually have a couple of aliens that have these like pointy but symmetrically pointing inward teeth. Is that in the Nausicaans?
Oh yeah.
Right. So we have these gnarly inward pointing teeth. And
do you want to tell us what a lamprey is though?
I'm getting there.
Oh, okay.
So a lamprey is a fish, I guess technically, that has a similar tooth arrangement of all of these sharp teeth that are pointed in on it's called an oral disc. It doesn't have an actual proper jaw. Salt vampires and Nausicaans do have proper jaws, but the mouth kind of design is similar to a lamprey that does not have a jaw. It has an oral disc, so there's kind of symmetrical arrangement of all of these teeth that are jagged, like these sharp teeth pointing inward toward kind of the mouth hole, kind of the gullet, I suppose. Very technical terms here. But what a lamprey does is it uses those teeth to grab on to flesh, and it's a parasite. And I feel like we've talked about parasitism already.
Yeah, we have.
In a previous episode, but that's kind of what that function is. Those teeth are sharp, but they all kind of point inwards, and so it helps them grab and suck on, like hold on, because lampreys don't have like limbs. They can't hold on any other way. So since they're all pointing inward, any force from multiple directions, there's some resistance there, and so it keeps them on, so they can suck the blood of whatever marine animal they are sucking blood off of.
Oh, cool.
So that makes a lot of sense for a salt vampire because it is also a parasite that is sucking salt, I suppose.
Like honestly, that's a really cool vampire design.
Honestly, yeah. So Nausicaans have a bit of a similar design, but
they've got like a normal human mouth under there though, and
the
then
tusks are kind of on the outside.
Yeah.
So I could.
What do you think those are for?
If you're too lazy to hold an apple. I don't know.
For intimidating people, will you play Domjot?
Basically, like that's got to be a secondary sexual characteristic if they have teeth inside of their mouth, those are meant for processing food. Yeah. Like those are probably going to be more like Tellarite tusks.
Yeah, we did just do an episode on Tellarites, but did we really talk about the tusks that much aside from like how they sometimes have them and sometimes don't.
I feel like we brought this up,
Yeah.
but it's worth repeating that tusks like that are really meant for digging.
Okay.
So, like in warthogs and stuff and boars, that Tellarites are kind of fashioned after boars.
When I was a young warthog.
Never stand downwind of Jenga Pog. Yeah, so those are generally for digging and kind of self-defense. That's another way, like, imagine getting a headbutt from a Tellarite. That can't be. That
wouldn't
can't
be
good. No. But it could also be a secondary sex characteristic. It could be something that female Tellarites find attractive and value.
I think female Tellarites have tusks too.
Yeah, that doesn't stop them. Like,
okay.
Like female deer have
antlers. Yeah, okay.
But males still have the big impractical ones.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, there's teeth and then there's tusks, and tusks do have a different value because they're not really for food things like teeth are. They're more for show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Potentially sensory also, like narwhals. Because that narwhal horn, it's not a horn, it's a tusk. It's one of its front teeth grew out of the front of its head over evolutionary time.
Just like my dentist warned me about if I didn't get braces.
But it worked out for him because it didn't curve back into their head like a rotor. I think there's some... It's very sensitive, and so I think for narwhals, I think it can sense salinity and stuff. It's supposed to be sensory as well as, like, just really cool looking. I got to hold not a whole narwhal, but a narwhal tusk once.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was, like, taller than me. It was very cool.
I've only ever seen pictures of narwhals, and I don't really get a good sense of how big they are. It's kind of like the first time you meet a horse in real life, and you think, oh, this is, like, I knew they were big, but
oh, good God.
Yeah. Like, this is somehow bigger than I was expecting.
Okay, anyway, so that's what the round mouth with the sharp teeth pointing inward is about, is like, it's generally for grip.
Nice.
In order to be able to consume. There's no molars, there's no chewing, they're not really taking flesh off, it's really just like absorbing something from the body, and so they need to be able to hang on.
Okay.
Yeah, and that gives them the best chance from getting pulled off somehow.
Do we also... I want to ask about Rock Talk's teeth. Rock Talk is a character from Prodigy.
We are big Prodigy stans here, I don't know if
you we enjoy the show. But yeah, no, so Rock Talk is an alien called a Brekar, and she looks like a rock monster, basically.
Yeah, she's big and rumbly, and when the universal translator isn't on. And as you noted, she has a middle front tooth. Her tooth shape is very, like, it's not completely round, but they're rounded, but they're all rounded and completely, like,
they're all molars, right?
I wouldn't say that. They all like kind of look like our front teeth, our front incisors. Okay. But round, but all the way around.
That's kind of... What would that even be used for?
So the fact that she has a middle front tooth and her teeth just kind of like do it every other, like a jack-o'-lantern, kind of like up and down like that.
Oh,
like,
they mesh together like the teeth of a gear.
Yeah. Okay. So that kind of makes me think she might filter feed also.
We've got a lot of filter feeders on the episode today.
A shocking number of filter feeders. And potentially. Because we know, we've seen her eat multiple times, and she eats gruel. Like, just slop. And so I don't think she really needs the crush capability, which is shocking for, like, a rock animal. You'd think that, like, a rock monster would be able to, like, would crush stuff. So it's also possible, since she's not a person, it's possible she could be processing food exterior with her hands, right? Because she has big rocky hands that she could grind stuff down and then, like, put in her mouth and not need to really. That's a potential theory. Like,
that's cool.
Yeah, because like that alternating fitting, like teeth in a gear, that to me reads more like a filter feed than biting down. Because like we have symmetrical teeth
Mm-hmm.
Like we have a top tooth and a corresponding bottom tooth.
Some of us have symmetrical teeth. I don't.
Okay. We are evolved to have, well, there's like a partner. There is a partner on the top and the bottom usually, right?
Yes.
If everything goes well. And so, like, they're meant to be on top of each other and put pressure on each other, and that's what helps us bite and tear things off and crush things, is because they're all, there's a buddy.
Yeah.
Like, your jaw is able to use equal and opposing forces, but Rock Talk doesn't have that technically. So, like, and also her mouth is relatively small for her face and for her body, and so, yeah, I don't think she's going after big prey.
Okay.
And she doesn't not necessarily a predator based on her teeth, which is another thing that makes it interesting, that she's, like, the character herself is basically a pro wrestling heel. Like, that's her career before she gets into the Prodigy crew. And so so she's just, like, big, but you can tell that she's not actually gonna be scary because she does not have the scary monster teeth.
I mean, I think it is kind of a plot point, though, that she is intimidating. She intimidates people because she's big, and without the universal translator, she's like, rah, 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 rah.
But so you have to look for the clues.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 The biologist encountering a Brackar for the first time would be like, you are not as scary as you look.
Aw, look at your big blue eyes and your cute little mouth. What a cutie. Biologists, we all think our animals are cute.
That's true. Yeah. I've met enough of them.
Yeah. We have many herpetologist friends.
That's lizard doctors.
Yes, they all think their scary nightmare animals are cute.
Some of them are.
They are, I guess, yeah.
The axolotls are really cute.
Axolotls are super cute. Shout out to Regina. Okay.
Yeah. So do we want to pivot a little bit and talk about tooth care?
Sure. So I think the majority of it is really what they talk about on Star Trek is really just the tooth sharpening. Yeah. Yeah. And Quark's chew sticks. And I mean, chew sticks is something that humans have used for a long, long time just to keep kind of plaque down on your teeth. Because as you might know, when there's bacterial growth in your mouth all the time because it's exposed to air and it lands on something where food gets caught in between your teeth, and that's kind of fuel for bacteria. And so you want to keep that down. It's not just a fresh breath thing. Like, it's really to maintain the health of your teeth. If you have a lot of plaque buildup, it's not just on the surface, it's under the gums. And so I had some great students last semester who did a really great project on the physiological effects of plaque. And you can have strokes and heart attacks because it can get into your bloodstream. Oh. It causes adverse health effects for pregnant people. So if you, as a pregnant person, are experiencing severe gingivitis, it can actually make you go into preterm labor. Oh, wow. Your pregnancy can end early because your body is handling this really severe infection in your mouth. Yeah, just really system-wide, like body-wide problems if you don't take care of your mouth. Wow, okay. So this is why your dentist is always harping on to us about flossing. Like, yes, yeah. Coming in every 6 months and getting like the deep cleaning that you can't do by yourself without serious dental equipment. Yeah, because they can take care of that, but if it progresses and causes health problems elsewhere, they can't. You have to go to another doctor. Are there any other Star Trek references to dentistry? Or there's some talk about, I think in Enterprise there's a line about like T'Pol goes to sickbay for a cavity, and they mention like Vulcans normally coat their teeth in a like a compound that prevents their teeth from getting cavities, and that's part of the regular maintenance. I imagine that's probably like when you go in for your cleaning and then they give you fluoride. Yeah. There's different ways of getting fluoride onto your teeth. There's some communities put fluoride in the water, and don't listen to the conspiracy theories. It's harmless. It's just good for your teeth. It seriously improves, really markedly improves everyone's oral health. The fluoride strengthens your tooth enamel. But you can also do like a fluoride rinse, or the coat their teeth thing reminded me of, I've actually gone in and they've put like a paste.
Like mouth guard, right?
They painted it on.
Oh,
and then it like wore off within 2 days or so.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm. We do that. That's something that is done, but it's optional and more expensive, I guess.
Yeah.
Or it can be.
Well, it sounds like it's good for like holistic health in general, because if it's keeping your teeth good, it's keeping everything else good too.
It's protecting people who are at cardiovascular risk. It's protecting people who are pregnant.
Yeah.
Yep. That was fun, honey.
Yeah, that was fun.
Thanks for picking that episode.
No problem.
Yeah.
So if you liked this episode...
Oh yeah, here are our announcements.
Yeah, if you liked this episode, please subscribe on your favorite podcast listening app like Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And now, YouTube.
Boo, 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 boo.
We're adding our back catalog with edited captions for all our...
Ramatizian.
What is that?
That's Riva. You know, the mediator with his chorus? He's deaf.
Oh my gosh. That is such a deep pull.
I knew something you didn't know. Boop, boop, boop.
Okay. So we're adding our back catalog with edited captions for all our Ramatizian fans out there. While you're thinking about it, please rate us and leave us a review so other people can find us. If you didn't like this episode, maybe listen again just to make sure.
If you have excellent taste and can't get enough of us, keep an eye on the Trexperts Quiz podcast feed later in January to see just how badly Eryn wiped the floor with me. Thanks for having us, Davey. And see, I did know something because I did a good deep pull of the Ramatizians.
Yes.
If only you asked about that. I also want to mention that you can now follow us both on Instagram and Tumblr at Spinal Frontier Pod. If you hit up Instagram, you'll find me. If you hit up Tumblr, you'll find Eryn. And again, don't forget the YouTube. We're really excited to be able to put this in a different format and be able to make this accessible to more folks by adding in those captions. It's a big deal.
It's a work in progress.
Yeah, we're slowly adding stuff in. And we're always excited to hear from you, so reach out. Tell us what you like. Okay, honey, you can press play.